Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, here we are for another AFL 2022 round review. Yes, here we are for another AFL 2022 round review. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing every game of round 20 of the 2022 AFL season. Now, as per usual, it was another big jam-packed round of footy. And we'll be having a quick look at round 21 at the end and how the ladder is going right now. But anyway, we're just going to go ahead, hop right into things, not waste any time. Round 20 AFL 2022 preview. Let's start now. So, Friday night started us off in Perth, where Fremantle 5-9-39 lost to the Demons 12-13-85. It was a very poor showing by the Dockers, who lost by 46 in the end. And this was potentially one of their worst games of the year. They played very poorly, and I did see a few things that maybe the retro jumper has something to do with it, where they haven't been playing well in the retro jumper, but put that aside, and the Demons played brilliantly. This was back to, well, probably some of the very best footy they have been playing this year. They've been looking really good. Again, this win really puts them back into, alongside Geelong, one of the favourites to win the flag. Not sure about minor premiership, but again, one of the favourites to win the flag are the Demons. You can see the first quarter was pretty even, but then in the second quarter, it really just started to become pretty much of a boring game, really, where the Demons are up by about 25 to 30 points-ish at half-time, and then in the third quarter, they just kept on going and didn't stop, and then they just kicked a few more goals in the last quarter, but it was a very poor performance by the Dockers, one that they'd like to forget, and just try and go into next week as good as he possibly can versus the Dogs. It'll be hard, and for the Demons, they've got a very tough run home, but if it's any team that will do it, it will be the Demons. First game on a Saturday afternoon saw Collingwood take on Port Adelaide at the MCG. Collingwood 13-10-88, Port Adelaide 12-10-82. Port Adelaide's season ends right there. Their season is over. So, yeah, no more miracles to make finals. Port Adelaide's season is officially over. Collingwood, their hunt for the top four got even better after this. That's 10 wins in a row from them now. And they are looking for a chance for the top four, really. Now, things are that tight, though, that a slip-up and they could be out of the top four just like that. But again, though, they have been playing pretty well in the past few weeks and they've been able to hang on in those close games, hence why their percentage is so low. But Port Adelaide started the game off very strongly. But then Collingwood in quarter 2 and quarter 3 just brought the momentum onto their terms. They kicked a combined 7 goals in quarter 2 and quarter 3, while Port Adelaide only kicked 2 goals in quarter 2 and quarter 3. And then the last quarter, it was Port Adelaide's quarter, but again, as the saying is, it was too little too late. Now to the SCG for also Saturday afternoon footy, where it was a very poor derby. Sydney 17-10-112 smashed the Giants 5-9-39. The Giants are in a bit of a mess right now. They look like they might have an exodus at the end of the year, and that's not going to help things out. Sydney, they're playing for a top 4 spot now. This was another really good performance. Their team is working out really well, and you can just see here, no matter what quarter it was in, they just piled on the pain. They had a really good second, third, and fourth quarter after, even though banging on 6 goals in the first quarter. So it was just a really good all-round performance by the Swans. Not really a lot to say. It was a fantastic win. The Giants are such a poor opponent right now that you will get a win. The Giants got Essendon next week. They do have a chance to pick up a win there at Giants Stadium, but you'd think the Bombers may be too strong. But the Swans and the Giants, this was a very interesting derby. The Swans smashing the Giants. Now to the Saturday twilight game where St Kilda 10-15-75 beat the Hawks 9-9-63. The Hawks, again, as I said already in this video actually, too little too late, not good enough to beat the Saints. The Saints, they had a really good second and third quarter, and that's where they piled on the pain, that's where they put the pressure on the Hawks, and the Hawks did respond in the last quarter, kept the Saints to a goal, but as it says, too little too late. And, the Hawks had 4 goals at three-quarter time. They had 1 goal at half-time. So it was a pretty poor showing by them. But for the Saints in the last quarter, they let that game slip. And they could have almost just about lost it. So, again, when they come up against harder opponents, that almost was a bit of a disappointing performance in a way for the Saints. They won, but they didn't really do it in a convincing manner. And they let that last quarter really be a bit of a mess. Now to the first game of Saturday night where Geelong 14-10-94 beat the Western Bulldogs 9-12-66. And it was the Cats in the end that were just way too strong. After the Western Bulldogs controlled the first half, they were good in the first half. They were the better of the sides in the first half. But then in the in the third quarter, it was the Cats. And I've talked a lot about, especially Fremantle and a couple of other teams as well, this year that have had a really strong third quarter, that have just blitzed away. And that's exactly what the Cats did, and that's why they won the game. They had a 8-0 quarter, and then that's where the game was won for the Cats. And then the last quarter, pretty even quarter, with the Western Bulldogs winning the quarter, however. But yeah, the third quarter, it does mean a lot when a team has a rampage. And when you put on 8-0, you know who's going to win. It'll be the team that kicks the 8 goals to the Nought in a scenario like this, where it was pretty close at half time. But yeah, in the third quarter, the Cats had won the game at 3-quarter time, because you knew after that brilliant third quarter that the Doggies were not coming back. Now to the Adelaide Oval we go for the second Saturday night game, and it was Adelaide 12-84, beating the Blues 8-7-55. The Blues now have a couple of concerns after this game. The Crows brought the pressure physically, and that is where they won the game. They do tend to play very well at the Adelaide Oval, and it was some amazing goals. Kicked a couple of rippers. Fogarty kicked an absolute amazing goal, fended off 3 of them, and took a ripping mark. It was Fogarty who really had a good night, and all the Crows really just stepped up in this game. And Carlton, they didn't really come to play. They brought not really a lot of effort. They were good in the first quarter. Second quarter was Crows, and then the third quarter, not a lot really happened, but it was where the Crows started to get going. And they had the belief, and then from there, they just absolutely smashed the Blues in the last quarter. Fantastic showing by the Crows, who are a young up-and-coming team. To beat a side like Carlton, that is really good. Carlton, they had a horror night. They had lots of injuries. But also, Carlton, they don't play well at the Adelaide Oval, so it was the Crows' perfect chance to win. They did exactly that and did their supporters very proud. Carlton, they're not a lock in the finals just yet, but you feel like that all they got to do is win one more game. But their next 3 are pretty tough. They do have some tough opponents in there. But yeah, they do have some very tough opponents in there to come. But all they got to do is win one game. But again, a brilliant showing by the Crows. So the first game on the Sunday was the Battle of the Coast, Gold Coast versus West Coast at Metricon Stadium, which brought us a high-scoring thriller. Gold Coast 16-11, 107, West Coast 16-8, 104. The Suns were the better of the sides, but it was a good showing by West Coast. And as I've said, this already 2 times this video, too little, too late by the Eagles. So I've said a fair bit this year that their last quarters haven't been great, so they did a really good job in this game on the last quarter aspect. But again, they just let the Suns get out to a bit of a too big of a margin. Like, it was hitting probably about 38 points or something along the lines of that. And yeah, they did work to bring it back in the third quarter, but then the Suns just kicked the first goal of the last, which set it back out to 30 points. And then the Eagles did really well to come back from there. But again, just not enough, and the Suns were the better of the sides and keep their slim finals hopes alive. Alright, so now to the MCG, where Richmond 15-14, 104 beat Brisbane 14-13, 97. Brisbane's MCG hoodoo keeps on going. Richmond come back from 42 points to produce the biggest comeback of the year so far. 42 points, can you believe that? Really, to be completely honest, I cannot. They came back and somehow won it from when the game was dead. Because Brisbane, they had a brilliant first 2 quarters, and they were right in the box seat to win the game. But a brilliant third quarter by Richmond is what really brought them back. The tide started to change. Brisbane kicked 2 goals, Richmond kicked 6 goals, and then in the last quarter, Brisbane kicked 1 goal, and Richmond kicked 4 goals. And look, Richmond kicked 10 goals in the second half, Brisbane kicked 3. And as a side that wants to try and win a game, 3 goals in a whole half of footy is not really going to cut it, and Richmond ended up winning by 7 points. It was a fantastic win, one of the best wins Richmond have had probably all year, really. It was a fantastic win. And Brisbane, they'd be very, very disappointed to let that one slip, because they had the game in their grasp. And as you could say, Brisbane choked a 42-point lead. The Tigers came back from 42 points to win an epic game of footy in the last quarter. But yeah, Brisbane choked by 42 points. The Tigers come back and win by 7. Now to Essendon versus North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium, the last game on the Sunday, and Essendon played really well. 17-12, 114. North Melbourne 9-12, 66. Poor performance by the Bombers. Not by the Bombers. Poor performance by North Melbourne. Another poor performance by North Melbourne, who are really back to their bad stages again. And Essendon, really nicely done. They're making their season something pretty worth it in the end. They're going okay. They didn't have a great start, but they have managed to fix up their season and are looking to try and fly up the ladder still. There is still time to go a little bit higher up the ladder for the Bombers. You knew the game was over at halftime, really. The Bombers kicked 5 goals, 2 in the first quarter. They were up by about 20 at halftime, and then the third quarter is where they go bang. But even more, they go bang in the last quarter as well to go ahead and seal the deal. And North Melbourne's performances this year have been pretty disappointing, but this was another strong one by the Bombers. And North Melbourne, another poor game from them. They looked like they were going okay, but yeah, they've definitely died off, and the Bombers way too strong. So that was a round of footy. Melbourne by 46 over the Dockers, the Pies by 6 over the Power, Swans over the Giants by 73, Saints over the Hawks by 12, Cats over the Dogs by 28, Crows over the Blues by 29, Suns over the Eagles by 3, Tigers over the Lions by 7, and the Bombers over the Roos by 48. The ladder, before we hop into a quick little look at round 22, the Cats are a game clear on top, the Demons and the Pies both on 56 points, having a shootout in round 21. And then the Swans and the Lions, 52 points, so they're equal 4th, but the Swans are currently in the top 4, Lions just outside. The Dockers, their top 4 hopes are fading away now. They sit in 6th spot on 50 points. Carlton, their top 4 hopes are over, but their finals hopes aren't yet locked in. They need to win one more game, 48 points for them. Saints are on 44, the Tigers are on 42, the Doggies are on 40. Gold Coast, you think their season's over. They have one last roll of dice versus the Hawks. They're on 36. But if they lose versus the Hawks, season over. And then that is how the rest of the ladder is shaping up. So now round 21. I may have said round 22 earlier. Sorry, we're looking at round 21. Melbourne versus Collingwood on the Friday night. Big game. That's going to be a massive game. I feel like the winner will probably end up finishing top 4. The loser won't. Both these two teams have incredibly tough run homes. So whoever wins this game will really get a big advantage. Hawthorn play Gold Coast University of Tasmania Stadium. This is a big threat for the Suns. Probably don't know the ground very well. So who knows? Hawthorn they are the favourites. I think they're the favourites anyway. And they'll probably end up winning at UTAS. But again, who knows? Giants, Bombers, Giants Stadium, 50-50 game. But again, I feel like the Bombers will probably end up winning. The Doggies and the Dockers, massive game at Marvel. Massive, massive, massive. The Western Bulldogs desperately have to win. The Dockers also desperately have to win, so it's going to be a really big game there. But the Doggies do play Marvel very well. So do the Dockers, however. The Cats, Saints, GMHBA Stadium, Saturday night, big for the Saints, finals hopes. And the Cats can't slip up. They've got a pretty easy run home. They could go 13 wins in a row. Power Richmond, Saturday night, big for Richmond's finals hopes. Port Adelaide season's over. They're still playing. They can't give up now. And, that's going to be a 50-50 game Saturday night. North versus Sydney. Percentage booster for Sydney coming up here. They have to take it. And, again, can really look at a top 4 spot. Brisbane, Carlton, massive game. All Carlton have to do is win. That's all they have to do to ink in a top 8 spot. Brisbane, they need to win this game to get back into top 4. If they can do it, because the loser of Collingwood and Melbourne would have slipped out. And then they can go back into top 4. And then to finish off the round, Eagles, Crows at Optus Stadium. 50-50 game. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys and then miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.